on, get out there and dance. Your tripod.
I lost it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Geez, I should have come saw you. I have one out in the car too.
You got one?
I got one out in the car. I got one up there, but
Let's give it a big round of applause for royalty and General Weinberg. At this time, I'd like to take the pleasure of your attention while I introduce our avant-garde here. We have Johnny Boy Barrett, Earl Fairbanks, Jim Loud, Jerome Strong. This is the Red Lake Avant-Garde, our three-star Warrior Society here in Red Lake. Let's give these guys a round of applause. They serve our country well. As with all things being Anishinaabe, ladies and gentlemen, we are, in essence, a warrior society in a lot of different ways. And what these gentlemen have asked is that they're requesting all of our young veterans to participate in these avant-garde duties. So if there's any veterans, young veterans who would like to be a part of this, they welcome you with open arms and much appreciation. At this time, I'm going to introduce our royalty. Introducing the Junior Parade, Casey Smith. Our Junior Miss, Grace White. Our Miss Red Lake, Athena Cloud. Our Red Lake Brave, Saunders Stilding. And I apologize, Miss, your name is, she's the Red Lake Princess, is Alicia Richards. At this time we have two honor songs here. We're going to go to our flag song by the Red Lake Singers and Johnny Smith, after which we're going to Selena Johnson for our national anthem. But at this time, please remain standing. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, for flag song. Thank you.
Get up on that.
Yeah.
At this time, I'd like to ask your respectful attention.
I know over there. Want to go down here?
Going over to Relic Singers for
See right over there where the yellow is? I'll show you here. I don't know if you're going to be able to get by.
We got one more coming down.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
And while they're getting ready, while they're making their way, I was just kind of looking around, looking at all the programs that we have here, and there was some writing on the wall back there. It had to do with the boxing. For those of you that don't know it, I used to box. All right. Let's give him a big applause. Gracie Smith, Corey Smith, Grace White, Athena Club, Sandra Stilde, and Alicia Richards. Thank you. Much appreciated. Incidentally, you're looking at true native pride. They have a lot of behavioral standards to set the standards for their peers. At this point in the itinerary, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the point why we're all here to learn where and get a good pitch. Floyd Buck Jordan.
Bonjour. Ani Dustin McBrush. Me and that guy graduated together, combined about 150 pounds ago. 1984 at Lake High School. Glad you could make it, Niji. He had one match and one loss, and he quit. Mattress back. Bonjour, Red Lake Nation members, honored guests and friends. Greetings to you all. My name is Floyd Jordan Jr., or Buck, as a lot of you know me by. It's my honor and privilege to present the State of the Band address for 2012. I'm the Triangle Chairman here at Red Lake. I've held office since 2004. And I'll try to make this as least painful as possible. We had like about 27 programs submit stuff, and it all came in like in the last 3 days, so I apologize for those that I wasn't able to include in this year's State of the Band, and hopefully we'll get to your programs next time. I want to first start by thanking Eugene Stillday. Squaniquit is what we know him by, and Rick Cloud. He's our spiritual advisor and elder at the Red Lake Tribal Council, and we open all of our meetings in the traditional custom with the prayer and acknowledgement of the spirits and everything that we do, and we ask for guidance from our ancestors, and we want to say miigwech to Eugene for doing that for us. It's with our ancestors and predecessors in mind that we do the work for the tribe in all our affairs, and as we move forward for the betterment of the Red Lake Nation. Thank you, veterans, for honoring us here today with your presence. And to all veterans and their families, thank you for your service. Miigwech Red Lake Singers, it's good to see you back. And to all of the royalty that is here representing our Red Lake Nation so well throughout Indian country. And how about Selena Johnson? One more time, gotta give it up for Selena Johnson. I was gonna sing that, but then last minute she was filming, so I got cut off. Nice job. She's, again, I also like to mention that she's a member of the Red Lake Nation Youth Council, and we're very proud of her. I'd like to acknowledge also the 2012 Boys and Girls Club Youth of the Year, Kaylee Reynolds. Is Kaylee Reynolds here today? Does anybody know her? Can they point Kaylee out? She'll be competing for the statewide title of Minnesota Boys and Girls Club Youth of the Year next month down in St. Paul. She's a sophomore at Red Lake High School and a volunteer. It's a little hot. Volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club. She mentors younger kids and helps them with their homework and art projects. She's undecided about college but wants to pursue at some point in her life a career in writing. So, and to all of the youth in attendance today, we say miigwech and keep up the good work. Oh wow. Now get back to school. To our families, friends, and staff of the entire Tribal Council, we say hichi miigwech and thank you for supporting us. I also want to just mention that tomorrow is my mom's birthday. My mom is right over there. She'll be 49 years old tomorrow, which makes me 29. Yes. Thank you, Mom, for everything, and I wouldn't be where I'm at here today without your love and support. Love you, Mom. Also to my staff, for everything that you do and a great job in organizing today's event. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Tribal Council. Treasurer Darrell Seekey, Secretary Donald Cook, Red Lake District Representatives Roman Dunker Stately and Donald May Jr., Little Rock Representatives Richard Barrett and Billy Green, Panema Representatives Glenda Martin and Gary Nelson, Red Bay District Representatives Julius Toady Thunder and Alan Pemberton, Hereditary Chiefs, George King, John Sumner, Reading Spears, Gerald Spears, Alexander Gillespie, James Lau, and Sam Smith. Thank you, Council, for your hard work and commitment to the Red Lake Nation. Can you all stand, please? Here's the Tribal Council people. They do good work for the band. I want to take just a second to acknowledge, again, Eugene Stillday. Last minute, I wanted to kind of add this in, and Eugene's been part of a remarkable project, and it was a film that was featured on PBS, and some of you may have seen it on Lakeland Public Television, and it's called First Speakers, Restoring the Ojibwe Language, and Eugene is a part of that. I know he does work with people in the Ojibwe language movement that's going on right now, and I want to acknowledge that this particular film about language restoration recently received an Emmy Award, and here it is right here. I don't have a prepared speech because it's looking for me, but Eugene, thank you, Eugene, for sharing this with us. I'll just read what it says on here. The National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences 2011 Upper Midwest Regional Emmy Awards. Documentary, Cultural First Speakers, Restoring the Ojibwe Language. Twin Cities Public Television. John Whitehead, producer, director, and editor. So nice job to all the people restoring our Ojibwe language. Ahead. We're going to set this out over there, maybe at enrollment department. I think they'll take good care of this. And if you want to stop by and take a look at it, feel free to do so, but just don't break it, okay? We don't want to have to replace it. I think Eugene might have copies of the DVD as well. I'd like to thank the tribal programs, enterprises, and organizations that have taken the time to be here today and showcase the services that you provide and to highlight your accomplishments. You probably don't hear it enough, but as a tribal council, we really do appreciate what you do for the Red Lake Nation. Your jobs are important ones, and we commend you on your dedication and your service. I encourage all of you in attendance here today, if you take an opportunity to walk around the arena, look at some of the displays and events that are located here. And I want to just thank the tribal programs and agencies for being here and on a great job. Miigwech. The theme for this year's State of the Band is We Do Kadadian Ginaganye Yumanani, which means working together for our future. The Red Lake Nation is a strong nation and getting stronger. That is why I'm proud to report that the state of our nation is good. It will only get better as long as we continue to meet our challenges and embrace the future in the spirit of We Kadadian Ginaganye Yumanani. This theme reflects the combined efforts of the many fine women and youth who contribute to the betterment of the communities here every day. Over the past several months, the tribe's public relations department released a series of articles and reports incorporating this theme. These articles, written by Michael Mures, have been distributed to band members and friends through as many media outlets as possible. I'd like to thank Joe Paul, Chief, and Charity Pemberton at the Red Lake Nation newsletter, and Mike Barrett at rlnn.com for keeping our band members informed. Also, many of our initiatives and successes have been featured in the Bemidji Pioneer and several media outlets throughout Indian country. It's important that we keep our band members informed about tribal progress. Unfortunately, too many times, Indian communities get cast in a bad light as places of negativity and despair, sometimes even by our own people. Here at Red Lake, we refuse to fall into those stereotypes. Our reservation is a beautiful place with good people where the many positives outweigh the negative aspects of reservation life. Yes, we have our issues and problems just like everybody else, and we don't ignore those issues. We deal with them every day, as we'll see later in this report. But it's important through it all that we maintain a strong and healthy outlook as we move forward together. Public Relations has a booth located in the arena where you can find copies of all the PR articles, as well as information on how to sign up to have Ojibwe language signage at your program or place of business. This is a new initiative, similar to the one going on right now in Bemidji. This effort is sponsored by the Tribal Council and the Ojibwe Language Preservation Committee. See Micah Mears or Marcus Tyler for additional information. I think they're booth is right straight up. He's the guy with the white hair back there. The Tribal Council is comprised of 11 elected officials and 7 chiefs. These 18 people, along with our staffs, are responsible for maintaining a government that oversees, regulates, and controls one of the largest Indian tribes in the country, with a land base equivalent to the state of Rhode Island. We are a closed reservation, where state laws and jurisdictions do not apply. Red Lake's governmental interaction is almost exclusively with the federal government of the United States of America, by which by treaty and agreements we maintain a government-to-government relationship. Our relations with the state of Minnesota and other tribes are also as one government to another. This is true sovereign power. This is something that we hold in high regard here at Red Lake, and as a tribal council, we pride ourselves by that, and our members enjoy those freedoms of sovereignty. But with the ability to self-govern comes the great responsibility to protect our sovereignty, homelands, and to make our communities safer and healthier places to live. Job creation, housing, healthcare, and basic infrastructure are of great concern as our tribe continues to grow. Secretary Cook recently reported that the Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians has now grown to 11,224 members. I would like to thank the Enrollment Committee, headed by Chief George King and overseen by Secretary Cook, for all of your hard work. Our tribe, let's see them around, boss. Our tribal enrollment applications are finally up to date as a result of the hard work by the elders who sit on this committee. Miigwech. Committee members include George Billy King, James King, Barb Cloud, Marcella Oganash, Anna Gibbs, Mary Lou Stilday, Mary Sayers, Dora Hart, Francis Brunn, and Carol Barrett. I'd like to acknowledge the recent passing also of committee member Anna Spears. She will be missed later. National budget issues. Recently, Treasurer Seeky returned from Washington, where he and other tribal delegates are fighting to protect a small piece of the national budget that is dedicated to Indian tribes. With proposed 10 to 15% cuts across the board throughout the next decade, tribes will have to look to creative ways to meet the needs of their band members. This includes the Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians. We continue to urge Congress to uphold the government-to-government relationship and honor their commitment to tribes. We are not a discretionary spending line item that should be eliminated or reduced because Congress and the President are at a budget impasse. We're the first peoples of this country, and the United States has an obligation to the Red Lake Nation. I, along with the other Red Lake Tribal Council members, will carry that message on behalf of the Red Lake people to Washington, D.C. next week as we visit our Minnesota delegation and officials from the highest levels of the United States government. Treasurer Seekley reported that our annual audits were recently completed and the next sequence of auditing has begun. We are pleased to report that the tribe is financially sound and in good shape. With the exception of budget shortfalls and a handful of tribal programs, there were no significant findings in our audits, and the ones that were a concern to the Tribal Council are being addressed now. The Treasurer's Office and the Tribal Administrator continue to stress sound fiscal discipline in all agencies and will conduct in-service trainings and budgeting, implement new policies, and provide technical assistance and support to all managers and directors on an ongoing basis. Our 2010 audit indicated that the band generated employment wages and benefits totaling $39 million. This does not include wages and benefits generated from Red Lake Gaming and other enterprises. Total expenditures were $78 million, which is about average for the past several years. Federal award expenditures totaled $54 million. As you can see, federal resources make up a great deal of the tribe's annual budget, and gaming continues to be our main economic driver. This is even more so why we as a tribe need to strengthen our local economy, keep our dollars circulating here at home, and branch out into other business ventures outside of gaming. Later in this report, I will share some of the approaches we are taking as a tribe to continue moving in that direction. Permanent Trust Fund. The Red Lake Permanent Trust Fund continues to fluctuate with stock market trends that drive our investments up and down. Earlier in the year, the fund grew 8%, then later began moving back down again. Currently, our permanent trust fund sits at $59,057,060, which prior to that, at the end of last year, was $55.2 million. That's a $4 million increase since January of this year. This is a good indicator that the economy is beginning to bounce back. Tribal distribution. In 2011, the Tribal Council authorized a special distribution of $6.6 million from the tribe's permanent trust fund, with $500 distributed directly to an estimated 11,200 band members. The balance went to reforestation and government operations. Given the state of the economy and the hardships that band members experience as a result, we felt that this was the right thing to do. Although we may not be able to do this every year, we have no qualms about helping our band members if we are able to do so. Thank you, Council, for your authorization of this distribution. Thank you, Treasurer Siki and your staff. And thank you to all the tribal staff and community members who worked many long, hard hours on the distribution. Miigwech. Walmart was packed. Also, it's worth mentioning that many of the same people made possible this year's toy drive that was a smashing success. Many reservation children had a good Christmas due to your efforts, and to all that are involved in these efforts also at the Chief Miigwech. Rainy Day Fund. Last year I reported that the tribe was establishing a rainy day fund so that the tribe would have reserves on hand for fiscal emergencies and such. The rainy day fund at this time has grown to $820,947. Several years ago, the band utilized stumpage monies for these purposes. 2012 is both a tribal election year and a year where we'll see all Americans elect the President of the United States of America. This means, once again, I'm calling on all of you to participate in the upcoming elections. It is imperative that we elect good leaders both here at home in May and in the November presidential election. I'd like to wish the incumbent tribal council members the best of luck in your bids for re-election. No matter what the outcome, Representatives May, Martin, Pemberton, and Barrett have served the Red Lake Nation well. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve on the Red Lake Tribal Council with each and every one of you throughout your terms in office. Miigwech and good luck in May. Often I wish that the members of Congress would take a lesson from the Red Lake Nation on how to work cooperatively together. I know what you're thinking, yeah, right. But seriously, as a tribal government, we don't always see eye to eye either. And that's okay, that's the way an effective government should be. But we have to realize that we hold office for the benefit of the Red Lake people, and we have an obligation to you to be effective leaders. When infighting, divisiveness, and ineptitude dominate the political landscape, then it only hurts the citizens. In Washington, D.C., the gridlock and unwillingness to work with the President by members of Congress has been both painful and embarrassing to watch. As a result, in the land of opportunity, no one hurts more than those who have little opportunity at all. Again, that's why it's important for us to elect good leaders, instead of leaders that are good at creating obstacles to progress. This is why I encourage all of you to give President Barack Obama 4 more years in office. And hopefully, I'm telling you, he's got a tough road. Hopefully this administration can finally make the type of impact for Indian country that we all hope to see. If leaders in Washington can get their act together and focus on the people instead of party politics. Recently at the State of the State address in St. Paul, Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton reported that Minnesota is in the midst of an economic recovery. As of December 2011, the unemployment rate in Minnesota is at 5.7%. This is 2.8% below the national average. In fact, According to the governor, Minnesota enjoys a per capita income 5 times the national average, second highest in the nation. He went on to report that employment, not unemployment, employment in the state of Minnesota is at an all-time high. So why then, if Minnesota is in such good shape, does the legislature insist on entertaining gaming expansion bills that jeopardize 41,000 direct and indirect Indian gaming jobs? Meanwhile, according to a recent economic impact study conducted by the Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians and Bemidji State University, 38% of Red Lake Reservation households have at least one adult residing there who is unemployed and seeking work. With over 6,000 Indians living here, jobs are hard to come by, and Indian gaming, as I reported earlier, continues to be the main economic driver for the reservation. The Red Lake Nation is opposed to any gaming expansion in the state of Minnesota, either by the state or by other Indian tribes. Gaming was intended to create employment on Indian lands, where opportunity is scarce for tribal members. Seems like just when tribes finally find an opportunity to get ahead and make a better life for Indian people, somebody come along and wants to take that opportunity for themselves. I ask all the Indians in this room, does that sound familiar? This is why we should oppose any form of gaming expansion outside of Indian lands. In 2012, the Tribal Council will continue to prioritize economic development, governmental reform, and business restructuring in order to improve upon performance and profitability in tribal businesses. The ultimate goal is to create jobs for our band members that are sustainable. We are proud to announce that next month we will introduce a new entrepreneur program and provide small business loans for those band members who complete a business plan and receive business training through the Economic Development Department. This program is just about ready to go. We're excited about the possibilities, and we can't wait to spur more small businesses on the reservation and to provide support to our local entrepreneurs. Contact Sharon James at the Economic Development if you're interested in this new program, or visit their table for additional information. I don't even know if they're here, but I'm assuming that they are. I haven't had a chance to see everybody yet. Sharon is new to the Red Lake Economic Development team. She's an enrolled member of the White Earth Ojibwe Nation. She brings extensive experience in developing successful small business programs to Red Lake. She has developed entrepreneur programs for other tribes that have seen Indian people go on to achieve great things with their businesses. I need a drink of water. How you guys doing? It's getting warmed up. I'm really snoring at. A couple people farting though. It's our sound man Eric. These microphones pick up everything. In 2010, the Red Lake Tribal Council hired Blue Earth Consulting, a company that specializes in strategic business analysis and planning to assist the tribe in conducting a comprehensive analysis of all tribal programs and businesses to make them more profitable. Based on their advice and with the help of band members with business experience both here at home and throughout the country, we established Red Lake Inc. Red Lake Inc. is a corporation wholly owned by the Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians and is chartered under the laws of the Red Lake Band. After much research and weighing of the possibilities of positive job creation by the Tribal Council, Red Lake Inc. was chartered on September 13, 2011. Modeled somewhat after Ho-Chunk Inc., one of Indian country's most successful corporations located in Winnebago, Nebraska, Red Lake Inc.'s mission has two components. One is to create a business entity with an appropriate level of separation from the political body. In other words, to separate the politics from the business. Second is to utilize the tribe's economic and legal advantages to invest in our and acquire assets to maximize profit and income to the company and its owners, the Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians. The board of directors of Red Lake Inc. is comprised of all Red Lake Band members. There are no tribal council members on the board, as this would defeat the whole purpose of separating the politics from the business. The board will report quarterly to the Red Lake Tribal Council and will issue an annual report to you, the people. The corporation as a separate entity will also serve to protect the band from suit or liability in business matters, therefore protecting our sovereign immunity as well as capitalizing on tax advantages that tribes enjoy. Developing corporations is a common practice in Indian country, and many tribes that have utilized this practice have created numerous jobs for their band members as a result. Ho-Chunk Inc. was formed in 1994 by the Winnebago tribe of Nebraska. It started with one employee. In the 1980s, the tribe owned and operated a gas station and a grocery store, both of which were losing money. Then when gaming was established in Indian country, the Winnebago tribe created Ho-Chunk Inc. This tribal corporation was originally created with the intent of diversifying tribal revenues generated by gaming into other business opportunities in order to create jobs. At one time at Winnebago, the unemployment rate was as high as 65%. Since then, unemployment has been virtually wiped out. Ho-Chunk Inc. operates globally with 18 total subsidiaries ranging from construction, information technology, home manufacturing, and retail, just to name a few. Their CEO, Lance Morgan, an enrolled Ho-Chunk band member, is recognized as one of the foremost experts in Indian country in economic development and job creation. Lance has visited the Red Lake Nation on more than one occasion and continues to advise Red Lake and many other tribes on job creation and economic development. Probably most impressive about Ho-Chunk is that this model development corporation is owned and managed wholly by Indian people, just like our Red Lake Inc. In fact, Dennis Johnson, an enrolled member of the Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians, serves as the CFO of Ho-Chunk and was recently appointed as president of Red Lake Inc. I want to take some time to acknowledge some of these board members. Their bios are very, very impressive, and there's a wide array of experience in a number of areas. And I asked these guys, could you give me a paragraph or 2 paragraphs bio if you could? And forget about that, they sent me a book. So I'll share some of that with you. But if it's any consolation, you guys are getting off early today. Huh? So please be patient. There's no snow out there. Dennis is an enrolled member of the Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians, Dennis Johnson. He attended the University of South Dakota where he obtained a bachelor's degree in business administration with an accounting major and also a master's degree in accounting. His professional experience includes several years of hands-on management experience in the automotive industry in positions including controller, regional store manager, and managing partner. Since late 2007, Dennis has worked with Ho-Chunk Inc., the award-winning economic development corporation owned by the Winnebago tribe of Nebraska, initially as the corporate controller, and then was promoted to his current position of treasurer and chief financial officer. Dennis believes that the success story of Ho-Chunk can be paralleled by the Red Lake Nation in even a shorter amount of time. Dennis will bring his experience at one of the nation's most successful tribal corporations to his own tribe, and is optimistic that here at Red Lake we can find our own success in the global business world through Red Lake Inc. He's very thankful for the opportunity to be appointed by the Tribal Council to Red Lake Inc. Samuel Strong, Secretary. Sam Strong is a proud member of the Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians. For the last 6 years, we've been working with the tribe to increase revenues for tribal businesses, increase impact in tribal programs, and create more high-value jobs for band members. He's a graduate of Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. His accomplishments include creating a land use and transportation plan for the Red Lake Band that the tribe utilizes to guide development decisions. Sam is also credited with creating the current tribal planning department that coordinates development and planning for the Red Lake Band. He began working on economic development initiatives in 2007 and was named the Director of Economic Development here at Red Lake at 2008. At the direction of the Tribal Council, Sam launched a comprehensive plan to transform the Red Lake Nation to a global example of economic prosperity and sustainability. He is also currently heading the constitutional reform efforts for the band. He recently completed the Native Nation Rebuilders Program born out of the Harvard Project and the Native Nations Institute. In his spare time, he's an advocate of sports and fitness and enjoys promoting healthy lifestyles to the youth and community through his participation As a member of Native Thunder Distance Runners, of which he participates in community-based events like sports camps, spiritual runs, and marathons. Sam is also interested in Ojibwe language preservation. Recently toured the Nakani Ojibwe language immersion program at the Buckingham School located on the Leech Lake Reservation. Sam and his staff are intent on creating a plan for the Red Lake's own immersion program and to research a potential networking effort with other Minnesota tribes to create an Ojibwe language immersion charter school. Stephen Standing Cloud is an enrolled member of the Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians. Stephen currently holds the position of academic dean at the Red Lake Nation College. He previously worked as the enterprise administrator for the Grand Portage Reservation before coming to Red Lake. Stephen held numerous professional positions, such as business specialist and business development planner for the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe. He also served as the Economic Development Director and Economic Development Grant Coordinator for the Red Lake Nation. His education-related experience included the position of Executive Director of the Center School in Minneapolis, Planning Specialist for Minneapolis Public Schools, American Indian Advocate for the Minneapolis Community College, and instructor at the Minneapolis Community College where he taught student success courses. Stephen earned a master's degree in business administration from the Curtis L. Carlson Graduate School of Management, University of Minnesota, and a bachelor's degree in management information systems from Augsburg College, graduated from Illinois. He served on numerous boards throughout his career, including Minnesota Education Partnerships, Minneapolis American Indian Center, Minnesota Indian Education Association, and the American Indian Student Association, and the American Indian Science and Engineering Society. Francis Chunky Brund is an enrolled member of the Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians. He graduated from the Red Lake High School in 1952 and then went on to graduate from Haskell Institute in 1959 with a 2-year business degree. He then graduated from Bemidji State University in the spring of 1975 with a degree in business administration. Francis Brund is a military veteran, having served in the U.S. Navy from 1952 to 1955. His professional employment experience includes working for the Indian Health Service at their national headquarters in Washington, D.C. as a general accounting clerk in 1959. He also served as the property and supply clerk in 1960 at the Indian Hospital in Belcourt, North Dakota. From 1960 to 1966, he worked as the accounting clerk for the Red Lake Indian Mills in Redby, Minnesota. From 1966 to 70, Chunky was elected to the Red Lake Tribal Council and served as the treasurer. From July 75 to August 1990, he served as the director of Indian Action Programs that would later be changed to post-secondary education programs. This program provided state-certified vocational education courses through the Detroit Lakes Voltech as a satellite program. From August 1990 to July 2004, Chunky served as the tribal administrator for the Red Lake Nation. Under his leadership, the Red Lake Nation was one of only 7 tribes for a pilot project that considered compact and BIA-funded programs or a select number of such programs. The Red Lake Nation chose the option of contracting only the superintendent position. Chunky retired in 2004, but continues to serve his tribe and community on various boards and committees. Roland Brenny is an enrolled member of the Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians. He serves as the principal of information technology for Delta Airlines, where he's currently guiding over 10 multi-million-dollar projects. He guides IT architects, producing estimates and plans for state applications. He recently received the prestigious 2010 Delta Airlines Chairman's Club Award. Prior to this, his current position, he served as solution architect and advisory developer for Delta Airlines, technical consultant for Northwest Airlines, and a consultant for Prudential Financial Services. He's also served as a consultant for Pillsbury Corporation, a programming analyst for Minnesota Mutual, and project leader for the state of Minnesota Department of Human Services. Roland received dual bachelor's degrees of arts in computer science and information systems management from the College of St. Scholastica in Duluth, Minnesota. Lee Cook is an enrolled member of the Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians. He has an extensive background as an executive and professional serving tribal, community, and government organizations throughout the United States. His most recent position was acting director of residential youth programs, clinical services, and family counseling for the Gila River Indian community. He has also served as the executive director of the American Indian Resource Center at Bemidji State University, president of the Native American Preparatory School in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and assistant to the president for diversity at Oxford College in Minneapolis. At Red Lake, Lee has served as Human Resource Director, Tribal Administrators for Self-Governance Programs, and as the Director of Social Services. Lee also served on the first Board of Directors of the Red Lake Nation's Boys and Girls Clubs. He also served as the Business Development Coordinator and Commissioner of Health and Human Services for the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe Indians. Lee received a Bachelor's of Science degree at St. John's University in Collegeville, Minnesota, and a Master's degree in Social Work from the University of Minnesota School of Social Work. Also a Federal Executive Management Certificate, a President's AMA Management Certificate, and a Certificate for Reflective Leadership from the Hubert H. Humphrey Institute of Public Affairs at the University of Minnesota. And last but not least, Andy Wells. Andy Wells is an enrolled member of the Red Lake Nation Chippewa Indians. He spent his early life on the Red Lake Reservation with his family in a small one-room house. During his youth, family and neighbors taught him the values of humility, integrity, vision, hard work, and respect for others. And he earned a Master's degree of Science from Bemidji State University in 1961. He then taught high school and university courses for 19 years while authoring 4 textbooks, farming on the reservation, and doing automation consulting for corporations. However, by the age of 45, Andy made a decision to live his vision of building a manufacturing business that served customers while creating new jobs for economically disadvantaged people. Andy's business, Wells Technology, began in 1989 with an investment of $1,300, which was, at that time, his total life savings. No, just like Indians, you spend it as a kid. Manufacturing precision metal products became the specialty of Wells Technology, and new products were developed and patented to help his business grow 20% annually. In 2004, Andy worked with Fastenal Company to develop a SBA-approved mentor-protege agreement for managing business growth. With marketing help from PTAC, UIDA, SBA, and other organizations, national sales began to develop along with government contracting. Profits were invested back into facility equipment and employment training. Wells Technology now has over $9 million in assets and 47 employees that serve major corporations such as Coca-Cola, John Deere, General Mills, Lockheed Martin, Medtronic, Tropicana, BAE Systems, General Dynamics, and Kraft Foods. While Andy was succeeding in business, he also found an opportunity to be significant by using profits to strategically give back. Andy recognized that most people who were applying for jobs lacked industrial skills and that there was a great need for job training near Indian reservations. Therefore, in 2006, Andy began Wells Academy, a 501c3 nonprofit industrial training school for Native Americans. This is a paid apprentice program which encourages positive life values while providing marketable job skills to Native American people. As a leader in the community, Andy serves local and state economic development boards and is a mentor to other entrepreneurs. Andy has received recognition through the National Indian Business of the Year Award, the USA Hub Zone Award, the Minnesota Small Business Person of the Year Award, and the Martin Luther King Award. I suspect because they think he's a black guy. I'm kidding. He'll give me hell for that later. For using his success for significant good, Andy Wells of Red Lake, Minnesota was invited to the White House and personally congratulated by President Barack Obama. This is the board of Red Lake Inc., everybody. I know some of them are out. They couldn't make it here today because of the storms and everything. Sam and their staff are out at Res and out west. And I don't know if Chunky's here or Steven, but all of the board members want to extend their best to everybody. They do plan on having community meetings and introducing themselves both in a newsletter and also going around to the band members to talk with you about your concerns of economic development and how to create jobs on the reservation. Is Lawrence Spotted Bird here? Does anybody know Lawrence? Come on, ladies, whenever you see a new brown Indian guy in the community, everybody knows where he's at. There he is. Lawrence is the new CEO of RL Inc. Is John Shimkus? Is John here? That's John, who's next to Lawrence. And thanks for being here, gentlemen. Lawrence is an enrolled member of the Kiowa Tribe of Oklahoma. You can have a seat. Thank you. He received his Bachelor's of Business Administration from the University of Central Oklahoma. He also studied architecture and participated in collegiate wrestling at the University of Oklahoma. He brings over 30 years of experience in business and economic development, primarily with Indian tribes across the country. He has more than 18 years of executive level management experience, having run economic development departments. He served as general manager and CEO of tribal-owned and Alaska Native-owned technology companies that provided services to both the U.S. government and commercial customers. He's also worked with various Indian tribes to organize their tribal government structure, to reorganize their government structure to separate tribal government operations with that of business enterprise solutions using the Harvard model of economic development in Indian country. Not only is he a strong advocate for this structure, he supports the focus on building the reservation communities through revitalized economic development initiatives that are led by the tribes themselves. The other focus on providing professional services and products to the federal government through unique contract opportunities that are available to tribes. A big part of that is government contracting, 8A it's called, where some of the other tribes in Indian country get contracts with the federal government to produce and manufacture and do those type of things, and helps create jobs for communities in the Indian country. Lawrence is a Vietnam veteran who served in the United States Navy. He enjoys ceremonies and powwows and is looking forward to becoming part of the community. And John, he's the son of a factory worker, John Shimkus. He grew up in the suburbs of Chicago. He's the first person in his family to go to college and obtain a degree. John chose a career in finance and accounting at the University of Nebraska, Omaha. He has worked for Arthur Andersen, one of the biggest public accounting firms in the U.S., where his client base specialized in manufacturing and distribution. He continued public accounting for several years before landing a job with an electronics manufacturer in Luigi, Minnesota. For the next 4 years, John gained proficiency in understanding financial reporting to the government in the areas of costing, internal controls, and growth opportunities. From there, he broadened his horizons to include construction accounting as an area of expertise, working with mid-sized companies. John has a passion in helping companies identify within themselves areas of strength and opportunity. He is pleased to have been selected by the board to become the controller for Red Lake Inc. Lawrence and John have been working with the following enterprises to implement strategies and transition plans that will improve upon existing business. They've been well received, and the future looks good for these participating enterprises. Red Lake Builders, Earthworks Technology, Red Lake Farms, Red Lake Forest Products, Red Lake Fisheries, Red Lake Retail Center, Red Lake Fuels, and Red Lake Nation Propane. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my introduction to the community of Red Lake and Propane. I'd like to report on the Panema multi-use facility. The Panema Community Facility is scheduled to open this spring. There's a handful of final touches that need to take place, but it's just about ready for a grand opening celebration. It's a beautiful facility. It will be a huge improvement in addition to the Panema community. With a full gymnasium, library, computer room, activities room, and kitchen, the center will meet the needs of the community members of all ages. It will also house the Boys and Girls Club of the Panema District. Miigwech, the Tribal Council, Panema Representatives Glenda Martin and Gary Nelson, the Panema Community Coordinator Delwyn Hutchison Jr., the Obashian Community Board, and Sam Strong and his staff at Tribal Planning for all of their hard work in making this facility a reality. Also DSGW Architects, Red Lake Builders, HUD, the Shakopee Mdewakanton Sioux Community, who donated a $1 million grant. Minnesota State Senators Al Franken, Amy Klobuchar, and Minnesota Congressman Colin Peterson for their support. Also, Hitching Witcher Holly and Carr and I-10 Consulting for their legislative work on the project in Washington, D.C.